I want to leap over buildings, want to fly over the shores, faster than a lightning flash, rushing through the cool night air. So start ignition, count to zero. I just wanna be a superhero.
Hey, what's up guys? Scott Speed here at the iRacing headquarters. Some exciting news about the upcoming Rallycross World Championship. They've got a wild card entry, and yours truly is gonna get that spot. See you guys out on the track.
A tough onslaught loomed for aspiring Rallycross drivers. They battled it hard through the Pro Series, slicing and dicing, bumping and rubbing, but only 23 of the world's best virtual racers would obtain a license and qualify for the inaugural World Championship in 2018. It's the highest level of esports and simulation racing for Rallycross as we welcome you to the Daytona International Speedway in Florida in the USA, which hosts the inaugural round of an 11-round championship of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. All coverage today is on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacing Live around the 1.39 kilometer, 0.864 mile Daytona long layout. Clockwise, 8 taps in corners. Most of the lap here is tarmac. It's that dirt section in the first sector that will really challenge the drivers, especially the difficult entry onto the jump, one of the toughest all season. and we'll see lap times registered around the 39 to 40 second range. Good afternoon, everybody. Jonathan Simon on hand in the commentary booth alongside Randolph Cheneth, Cam Walsh on social media, and Hugo Luis behind the scenes in production. And Randy, you talk about the Joker lap here. It's relatively straightforward. It cuts on the inside of that final corner, but it can definitely prove critical for race victory in the feature later today.
It definitely is. That Joker lap is easily the only passing opportunity you really get after an event here at Daytona. The only place, I think, to make up positions, but you have to time it right. You have to know when to use it. Sometimes that means doing it the first trip by. Other times you have to go a little bit deeper into the race before you end up taking your Joker lap. So when you decide to take that Joker, that's, I think, going to be the bit difference maker between people who can win tonight, both in their heats and in the feature, and the people who are going to struggle to pick up spots.
And as you can see on screen there, this is our event format for the World Championship. Quite different, to the rest of what we've seen for most of the year. We have 3 heats this time round of 5 laps in length. The top 2 will advance to the feature race. 2 consolation races this time round, and those will be 5 laps in length. Top 2 will advance to the final from each of those, of course. Now, this will all depend on how many drivers appear here today in the World Championship, because we know in iRacing, Randy, this is esports, this is sim racing. Drivers still have a lot of other commitments going on.
Yep, that's definitely the big thing. So sometimes there will be some no-shows, and we only get 2 heats as opposed to 3 because of that. But we're going to have to wait and see what ends up happening as we get deeper and deeper into this season. But I think this is going to be a fantastic season opener. This is, I think, pretty much the most popular track when this content released just about 6 months ago. I think this is going to be a fantastic opening round. It's a super fun track, a fast track, but a difficult track all at the same time.
So you can see the qualifying time counter there at the top left hand of the screen. The drivers are setting their first times of the season. It's currently Mitchell de Jong on provisional pole, and he looks like he's set a very rapid time, a 39.4. So we were expecting lap times in that 39 to 40 second range. For the driver of Stelian Cheplevsky there, Randy, he's done a lot for this community in Rallycross, and you're here today as well. He's proving that he is quick, so people should listen to him in terms of his tips.
He definitely is. Stelian's one of the quickest drivers on this side of the service for sure, and Vision Racing, I think, is pretty much the premier team. You can make the argument, for maybe Coanda Simsport because Mitchell de Jong dominates, but Mitchell's really the sole driver from that Coanda stable that tends to do this. We get ready up for heat race number 1 that Mitchell's going to be starting on the front row of.
Yep, exactly. So Mitchell de Jong on the front row alongside Joni Heikkinen and Josh Fox. Garrett Lowe will join those 3 on the second row. Yorgi Zadzon and Julian Shine behind. Tony Reposado and Michael Guest will also start 7th and 8th. So we should have 2 heat races here today just due to the driver count. So normally with a bigger field, we will see that 3 heat format come to play. Really looking forward to this start, Randy. Talk about the challenges on the run down to that last corner. We start this race in the middle of the lap, ironically.
Yep, the first corner is the last corner, and it's a relatively straightforward kind of straight line, but there's a little bit of left-hand kink right after you come out of the starter's box, and that can cause some issues for people. You might see some stacking up on the run down in towards turn 1 in the braking zone, especially because you're 3 wide. You can run out of room very, very quick, and it's not surprising to see an incident as you turn down in towards that 180-degree turn 1. Now, talking about the different manufacturers, good mix of Volkswagens and Fiestas, but I think Mitchell's in the only Subaru. But in terms of questions of BOP, he's quickest on the day, so maybe it's quite good as these guys get ready to get going.
Yep, and have a look at Josh Fox in that Fusion racing car. There he is on the front row alongside Mitchell. In the middle of them will be Joni Heikkinen, who is a very quick young Finnish sim racer. He's in the Volkswagen Beetle. We're ready for the first time in this championship. The inaugural iRacing Rallycross Championship is go! Great start from Heikkinen. Mitchell de Jong has the inside line though, and Josh Fox trying to make a statement around the outside here into the last corner. And a bit of contact there between de Jong and Heikkinen perhaps, and Josh Fox promotes himself to 3rd, so not the best start from the outside line, but through the jump they all go for the first time. Garrett Lowe in 4th position, Yorgi Zadzon in 5th. I have to say, Randy, a relatively clean start for the World Championship.
Clean start for sure. These guys, Mitchell, Heikkinen, Fox, top 3. They head down now towards the top end of the circuit. This tight, nearly 180-degree right-hander that's so difficult to get the throttle down as it transitions into gravel. Fight on the second a little bit as Josh Fox had a little bit of overlap with Joni Heikkinen, wasn't able to make anything of it. Let's see who Joker jokers here on the opening lap. Mitchell's going to go for it. Josh Fox is going to go the long way around as well as the rest of the field. Joni Häkkinen also takes the shortcut for the first time. Rest of the field sticks to the normal lap and keeps that ace up their sleeve.
And that did impede Josh Fox's braking zone. He had to back off slightly earlier. He didn't want to collect Joni Häkkinen. So those two using their joker just at the right time, and they get a bit of an extra breathing space here. But Garrett Lowe and Josh Fox continue to the final corner. Here's that difficult right-hander through the middle of the lap. On two wheels is Josh Fox. They're heading through the corner. Brilliant stuff from him. And he's someone we want to look forward to for this World Championship, Randy. We're expecting a lot from Josh Fox.
He really is. He is someone to watch as these guys head down in towards that final corner. Once again, one driver in the back is taking the joker lap. Who's that? It's the Ford Fiesta. One of the race clutch cars is Julian Shine. He's going to slot up into the fourth spot. Now, that's the interesting thing, Johnny, that a lot of these guys are going to be used to running the regular official series and requiring or needing to finish top four in order to transfer towards that feature race. It's going to be a little bit more coveted of a group that gets directly to the feature event now, so you're going to have to be much more aggressive if you're like Josh Fox or Julian Shine. That said, Josh Fox about a second and a half right now off of Joni Häkkinen in second. He's right around on the delta that you would need to be able to make a pass using the joker lap. When will Josh Fox go for it? Not yet, but he might be able to make up a spot with the shortcut when he decides to use it.
Yeah, the problem for this is that only the top two advance to the feature, and that means De Jong and Häkkinen right now look comfortable, but who will get that grid position for the consolation race? Josh Fox looks comfortable. Julian Shine looks good as well after his joker, but Garrett Lowe is ready to pounce. He just needs to stay close. He looked like, Randy, last lap around, he gave Julian Shine just a little bit of a tap here through this corner, and now he's got a bit of extra breathing space, Julian Shine, but a bit of bumping and rubbing never hurt anybody.
Yeah, especially in Rallycross. It's a very physical form of motorsport. Rubbing is racing when it comes to this stuff, as Josh Fox once again is going to go right past that joker lap. A couple other drivers still owe us one as well. Garrett Lowe, someone to watch, as well as Georgi Zadzon. So this entire little cluster of cars from third place on back, with the exception of Julian Shine, still owes us a joker. Let's see how they're going to do it here as they save it for the final lap of this first heat.
Final lap, the World Championship for the first ever time. Mitchell de Jong looks comfortable to win this heat in that Subaru. He's definitely the championship favorite going into this series. Joni Häkkinen right behind. He will advance to the feature race if he can keep it together through these final couple of corners. De Jong screaming through the middle section of the lap. Here he is. And a relatively straightforward final corner. Mitchell de Jong takes victory for heat one. Häkkinen across the line in P2, then it will be Josh Fox in third. Garrett Lowe in fourth. He used the joker on that final lap, didn't he, Randy? And he promoted himself to fourth ahead of Julian Shine, followed by Zadzon, Reposad, and Michael Guest. So well played there by Garrett Lowe.
Yeah, it really was. It was having Tony Reposad finish right now, but I think that Josh Fox played himself a little bit. I think he lost a little bit of time. I think he should have jokered a bit earlier as we getting ready to grid up for heat race number 2 before our twin consolation races.
Yeah, exactly. So heat 2 right now will contain the ever-quick Stelian Chaplevsky, followed by Bobby Zelensky and Connor Parise on that front row. Johan Harth, Nathan Lyon, and Logan Clampett will start 4th, 5th, and 6th, followed by McKinney and Cedric. Guys, well, here they go to go green. Heat 2's underway. Zelensky got off the line well. That middle row's working well for the drivers in terms of traction, but Chaplevsky on the inside has all the grip. Bit of contact between the top three. Zelensky almost turned around, but have a look here at the top two. Johan Harth is making a statement for P1. Screams through the jump. Can he keep it together on the landing? He does exactly that. Brilliant start from Johan Harth. He started the race in 4th. He's up into 1st as contact looms behind.
It was a good start for that Fiesta that's fighting a lot of Germany right now. Stilian Chaplevsky is going to slot into the 3rd spot. Bobby Zelensky up into 2nd. Very close to contact between those two as they work their way through the hairpin, but the entire field more or less through and going. A couple small incidents. One driver who's really lost a lot of time is Cedric Dismere, who's going through the that hairpin pretty much at the halfway point of the lap right now. As drivers are taking their jokers for the first time. We got Mike McKinney hopping on for it. I think that's pretty much it.
Johan Harth almost lost it through the jump. He was in 1st position. He looked like he had a very difficult entry, but we're watching the mid-pack here as well. That is the driver, Nathan Lyon, stuck behind Mike McKinney. McKinney has that very unique pink and yellow livery, as you can see there. He's 3rd in this pack. but Zelensky leads this group right now. So Johan Hart with that Joker again grabs a slight bit of advantage. Here we're right on board with Mike McKinney. Johan Hart though, Randy, and he looks unscathed though. It's that battle for P2 we're going to look out for. Zelensky takes to the Joker. I don't think he's going to catch Hart in P1, but he gets a bit of breathing space.
That's what he needs, because Vasily Chiplevsky was right on his tailpipe, and importantly, Nathan Lyon takes the Joker and gets ahead of Stillian as well. So that's going to help Bobby out a ton, because it's going to give a bit of a blocker, so to speak, out in front of Stillian to hold him up. Not necessarily saying that that was choreographed between those two, but it's just the way Rallycross can go sometimes. That one little move might be enough to hold Stillian up and be able to give Bobby that ever-coveted transfer position to go directly to the feature, because Stillian has lost a lot of time between that bright orange and Nathan Lyon. Let's see, I think Stillian would be wise to Joker here, but he chooses not to, and I don't like that call.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to lose more and more time stuck behind Nathan Lyon here. He goes through this first sector. God, that jump is so difficult. Screaming over and landing there. We look from behind Nathan Lyon here for that in that Nexus Esports car. Cheplevsky, the ever-popular Fusion Racing, formed in 2018, and they're rising as one of the top teams in esports. And here's Cheplevsky through the inside. He's trying to find every single gap he can find, basically. Trying to squeeze through every nook and cranny. All over the rear end here of Nathan Lyon. He takes to the Joker finally. Where will he appear?
Well, he's going to definitely be ahead of Nathan Lyon, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get Bobby Zelensky. And no, he's about a car length and some change back as they head up and over the jump for the final time of this race. And Stillian, he's going to have to find some way, somehow, to reel Bobby in and make a move down to that final corner as Zelensky loses a bit of time.
Yeah, I was about to say Zelensky was very hot going into that middle section. Here they go through the right-handed hairpin. Cheplevsky looks ever quick through here. Tarmac, though, a different beast to the dirt. So who's quick on which part of the circuit? Cheplevsky skips over the grass. You'll see drivers do that a lot today. You are allowed to do that. Final corner on the final lap. It looks like Johan Hart will take victory in advance of the feature. But who will be in P2? It'll be Bobby Zelensky. And Cheplevsky will head to the C main. He will not make it after starting the race on the front row from pole. Nathan Lyon in fourth, Clampett fifth. Then it's McKinney, Geismer, and Paris in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So another good race there, Randy, in Heat 2.
Yeah, it was good. It was very, very aggressive from those guys. And now that we get our qualifying mains going here in just a couple of moments, we wait for the last couple of drivers to finish. This is going to be a bit of a duke out to see who gets the transfer and who doesn't. We have a 6-car C main here. So it's going to be exciting to see who gets their way in and who doesn't.
Yep, so the C main will contain Josh Fox, Garrett Lowe, Julian Shine, Georgi Zadzon, Michael Guest, and Tony Repoussard. Randy, we talk about the top 3. We'll head to the feature round from the C main, an ever-important event.
Yep, top 3. If you don't get it done here, you go away. It's not a C main and a B main if you're an American racing fan. It doesn't work like that. Essentially 2 twin B mains as the field is gridded and we get ready to go.
So Fox on the inside, Lowe and Shine join him on the front row. Lights illuminate for the C main. And we go green for 5 laps of action. Josh Fox, what a start from the inside line there in that Fusion Racing car. He's alongside his teammate there, Garrett Lowe. Both of them fighting, giving enough breathing room for each other. Those two head into the top 2. Shine will demote himself to 4th. Georgi Zadzon is all the way down into 6th at the start, Randy.
Not a great start for him whatsoever. There's a little bit of issues in the back. Georgi Zadzon and Tony Repoussard get into it, but Zadzon well held by him through that corner. He's able to get enough wheel input into it and get to that final apex. They head now through the midway point of the track, get onto that gravel. Drivers picking up the right rear through that sector. Now down towards that final corner they go once again. Josh Fox, I expect the Joker from here on lap 1. He goes for it. Garrett Lowe, as well as who else was that? Michael Guest going to take the regular lap. Julian Shine will opt for the Joker as well.
And that was a great Joker by Julian Shine. Gives himself some clear air in front. But Michael Guest, the 19-year-old's having a great race here in the C main. And we'll look to head to the feature for round 1 of the World Championship. He's currently in 4th, though. It's only the top 3 that will make it through. Have a look ahead of Michael Guest. Garrett Lowe is impeded here by Julian Shine, who played that Joker to perfection. Look at the traction, though, Randy, for Julian Shine.
That's the big problem. I expect Garrett Lowe to joker right here as they head down for the second time, and he's going to go for it. And is that going to be Michael Guest doing it as well? I think it is. I think he would have been perhaps wise to save it for the next lap, but he as well didn't want to get caught up behind Julian Shine, and he's just going to come out in front of that race clutch driver. So that bright red Fiesta is going to want to do something of this very quickly if he wants to get to the main event, because right now he's on the wrong side of being the bubble boy. Michael Guest is on the right side of it.
Exactly. So Julian Shine there in that race clutch car. The Belgian, he's the son of a road bike racer and a mechanic, and he's very familiar with the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. This is a different beast here at Daytona, and right now he doesn't seem to be playing this round to perfection. Only a few laps to go. Oh, he's all over the back there of Michael Guest in the braking zone. He had a look, he had a peek, Randy, but good defensive driving by Michael Guest.
I thought he may have picked up a little bit going through that final corner. He looked a little bit wide, and I thought that there was going to be a bit of an issue because of that. Julian Shine is all over the back of him, and it's very possible we could get a bit of contact here between these two. There is, things get physical in Rallycross. You might throw a move that you wouldn't in another form of motorsports, and Julian seems so determined to want to do it. The problem is, Johnny, there's just no good braking zones here. There's no good passing opportunity outside of the Joker lap. Everything's just you're always turning. You don't get a long run. This is the only good opportunity. Is Julian going to slot it down the inside? No, as they're going to start the final lap of the C main.
So Julian has to try something different, possibly at the hairpin. We'll stay with these two. Top two look fine there. Oh, someone's collected a bollard. It may have been Josh Fox in the lead, but he remains clean. Look at Shine, though. Trying to force Guest offline. He's trying to make every trick work here on the final lap of this C main. Through the right-hander. This is where Shine needed to pull off the move. I don't think he's going to have enough time here. He may find himself eliminated here in the first round of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Through the final corner, it looks like Josh Fox will advance along with Garrett Lowe, who's going to be in P3. Well done to Michael Guest, the young man. He heads himself to the feature race. Julian Shine, unfortunately, out of the event, along with Tony Reposad and Yorgi Zadzon. Again, the Joker, Randy, proving to be the critical factor as we get ready for the B main.
It definitely is, and I think for Julian Shine, one of the other important bits was he had one little opportunity, I think, to get Julian to make up that spot, but he kind of lifted out of it as we grid for heat rate, the second main.
Yep, so it'll be Cheplevsky, Nathan Lyon, Logan Clampett, along with Cedric Geismer, Connor Parise, and Mike McKinney. The 6-car grid. Again, the top 3 from this race will head to the feature. Lights illuminate once again. Oh, slow start from Nathan Lyon there. Cheplevsky may have jumped the start, but I think he might be clean there. We'll have a look at that. And contact between Lyon and Cheplevsky. Have a look at the outside, though. Logan Clampett may be hung out to dry. The top 2, though, remain in the top 2. And Clampett in P3, challenged behind by the driver of Connor Parise. Great start from Connor Parise. He needed that.
Good clean start from everyone. Everyone's pretty much tucked nose to tail, a little bit of contact and bumping and banging, but nothing getting too feisty here as they head down to the midpoint of the lap. Hard on the brakes for your top 2. Cheplevsky, picks up that right front just a little bit. A couple other drivers in the back do as well. I think that was Connor Parise. They head down through the S's. Expect Stillian to Joker here on the opening lap, as you traditionally see. Will Nathan Lyon go for it? Actually, it's going to be the reverse. Stillian Cheplevsky, I think this is a terrible call. He's going to put himself out into traffic.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Cheplevsky was thinking about there, but he's got just a slight bit of clean room. Up ahead is Nathan Lyon in the lead, who that Joker came at the right time with that Nexus Esports car. Here they go through the dirt section, riding on board with Cheplevsky. Looking for just one open door, and he'll take it. He's a very quick driver, Stelian Cheplevsky, the Bulgarian. Currently lives in the UK, of course. Behind them, Logan Clampett. Mike McKinney, by the way, is out of the race, if you were wondering. Something's going wrong with Mike McKinney, so this has become a 5-car grid as they take to the Joker this time round. Cheplevsky should find himself back in the lead, Randy.
Yeah, I think he should. McKinney got the wall coming out of that sector after the jump, after that long right-hander. He just clipped the wall on the left-hand side, and that pretty much killed the suspension. That's going to be his stage done. And I believe, Cheplevsky comes out in the lead. I think he got kind of away with murder on that one, Johnny, and the way he strategized that Joker was not wise at all. I didn't like that whatsoever. He's lucky, I think, to come back out with the lead because putting yourself into traffic in the middle of a rallycross field can oftentimes be disastrous.
Yeah, he almost killed his own race, so yeah, not a good decision by Cheplevsky, but he's all comfortable now. It's the top three that will make it through. Lyon in second, Clampett in third, but Connor Parise, he takes to the Joker this time round. Where will he end up on the exit here? He could be alongside Logan Clampett heading into the first sector. Clampett just edges ahead of Connor Parise, the American, and that Fusion racing car in fourth has a bit of work to do here with a couple laps to go.
He definitely does. Connor Parise, I think he's going to be a little bit more aggressive, and he has a run here. I think he needs to get all over the back of Logan Clampett, try to slot it down the inside here. No one wants to be aggressive. A lot of people, they run this like they almost approach it like a regular form of road racing. I don't think you can have that sort of gentleman's agreement the way these guys are. I think you have to be willing to kind of, with the lack of a better term, lick the stamp and send it sometimes. As Connor Parise, a little bit of a tap to the back of Logan Clampett, bit of a bump and run, and Parise is going to have third spot at the start of the white flag lap, and he gets the position in the chicane, and there's big contact.
Yeah, there was a bollard on the middle of the racetrack, and here's Cedric Geismar. I think he's out of the event almost. He's crashed into the wall, the Frenchman. So Cedric Geismar is essentially out of this battle, but they all had to skip those first couple of corners because there was a bollard on the middle of the racetrack. It may have been Cheplevsky or Lyon.
Oh, Logan!
Look at Logan Clampett now. He barges his way through past Connor Parise, and that will mean on the final lap here, Cheplevsky will win the B main, followed by Nathan Lyon, but that contact at the end helped Logan Clampett promote himself into third. He's ahead of Connor Parise. Connor Parise is out of the World Championship for round one. How about that, Randy, for a finish?
That's disaster as we have a 2-minute warm-up. And I have to say, I would not be surprised if there's a bit of a look at that post-race by the officials. I think that first move when Parise picked up that third spot was clean, but I think Logan running Connor the way he did into that final corner, I think that was a little bit harsh and was definitely a bit over-aggressive on his end. There was no way he was going to make the move there. He was nowhere near alongside quite the way that that Connor was able to get to him off that final corner. But regardless, Logan goes into the feature tonight and Connor goes home.
Well, let's have a quick look at the grid for the feature race. And those are the unofficial race results, by the way, for that B main event. And, of course, as well, we saw a couple of the drivers out of the event, included the driver Mike McKinney, who unfortunately didn't make it through. He's out of the event as well. We'll look at the grid in a second's time, of course. Apologies about that. But we will see, Randy, Mitchell de Jong starting first. On the front row, he's joined by Johan Harth, Joni Heikkinen. This is a battle we've seen before, but it's one that I'm looking forward to under the pressure of the World Championship, under a circuit here which is extremely difficult to overtake at.
Yeah, it is, and that's the thing. These guys are they're playing really patient with one another. The only time we've seen someone lose patience, let's be honest, is what Logan Clampett just did to Connor Parise. There's been a couple times people have had a nose and they've lifted out of it when, I think they would have been more than right not to do so, because there's a certain element. It's almost like oval racing, Johnny. When you have it's not like road racing where you need, a 50% overlap to make a pass. If you're there, you're there. If it doesn't matter if it's by an inch, if it's by a fender, if you're alongside, you need to slot up the braking zone and try to make something happen, in my opinion. And I think that's what we're going to see in this feature, especially if something happens to Mitchell. We've seen Mitchell lose the lead in the past in these races, and he tends to be a master at being able to work his way through a field. I think Mitchell is going to put on a clinic, though. I don't think there's any way that lone Subaru is going to be anywhere than the top spot at the end of 10 laps.
Yep, so on the second row will be Zelensky, Josh Fox, and Garrett Lowe, followed by Michael Guest, Stelian Cheplevsky, Nathan Lyon, and Logan Clampett for your 10-car field for this feature. Zelensky and Josh Fox from that second row, Randy, are two names to look out for here at the start for our first ever 10-lap feature race for the iRacing World Championship Rallycross Series.
Yep, and it's going to be a good one. I'm super, super excited as we head down your starting grid and these guys get ready to get going. If you had to pick someone who's not Mitchell, Johnny, who'd it be?
I'd say Cheplevsky looks really quick. He had a bad event, but he looks pretty quick out there. He's
From
just
eighth on the grid, though?
Right. Possibly. Who knows? I'm just trying to be bold, that's all. Let's head to the start here. Not all the drivers have taken to the grid. Let's be realistic, Randy. It's probably someone on in the top 4, top 5. Anybody below Josh Fox really has their work cut out for him. But Johan Harth looks good. He's in the middle of that front row. Here we go for the start for the feature race. 10 laps of action here from Daytona. And we go green for the final time. Good start from De Jong in the Subaru. He's already up ahead of Hart and Heikkinen, and just collects Johan Hart there, shoves him out of the way there. But have a look at Bobby Zalenski. Could find himself in P2 here. Oh, he's turned around. Bobby Zalenski has been turned around, and he's over there alongside the jump. He hasn't even made it over the jump. And that means Bobby Zalenski is demoted to last there. Chaos for him, Randy, at the start.
He's different colors, but the bright orange punching bag glove book gets the wrong side of luck once again. Just a little bit of a tap in the wrong part of the corner, and he ends up going around. He's only just now coming up towards the midway point. What else he got?
And look at Johan Hart. Johan Hart, something's happened to him at the hairpin there at the right-hander. He finds himself now in P8. It's showing on the timing screens. Josh Fox is in 10, so it may have been a collision between Hart and Fox.
Oh, did it by himself. Did it all by himself going into that halfway point. That's an easy thing to do. You have that little left-hand kink, Johnny. And if you get the rear end, if you lock up a right tire, you tend to spin up almost onto the oval window towards NASCAR turn 1. That's exactly what Johan did. Did it all by himself, and now he's about 12 seconds back.
Yeah, so right now the order is De Jong in first, Heikkinen in second, Michael Guest in third. What an event it's been for Michael Guest so far. Can he keep it up towards the finish right now? Who's going to take to the Joker this lap round? It's a 10-lap event. There's less stress and a bit of less involved for the drivers. Cheplevsky and Lyon go through though on the Joker. Nathan Lyon finds himself in third, Randy. So again, we have to watch out for the Joker. Drivers trying to search for some clean air here early in the event.
Yeah, as you would definitely expect. I think for the most part, everyone in your top handful of drivers is already jokered. Nathan's jokered already. Yoni Häkkinen and Mitchell de Jong, they did it on the opening lap. Michael Guest has not yet jokered. Stilian Cheplevsky has. Let's see who else is jokered. Garrett Lowe still owes us a shortcut, as well as Logan Clampett. Johan Hart, he's lost a lot of time, but he still owes us one as well. So it's about kind of 50-50 about who has and who hasn't jokered, as Logan Clampett's going to take to it right now.
Yeah, so good stuff from Logan Clampett. Oh, he's just going to squeeze in right behind Michael Guest. So the two Nexus Esports car there of Nathan Lyon and Michael Guest are in third and fourth. Clampett in that NX Racing car, the SimCube NX Racing car, is in fifth. Cheplevsky, though, started in eighth, and he's having a good event so far. That's why you need that grid position. He looks quick, just cannot make his way past right now on Logan Clampett. Here we are looking at the active work on board Logan Clampett in that virtual NX Racing car. Let's have a look at Cheplevsky here, Randy. The inside isn't, I mean, everyone just knows to defend the inside line here at the final corner, and you should be able to defend your position.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking the defensive line, but people need to find somehow, some way to make something happen, I think, in other parts of the lap. I think this sector right here, if you can find some way to stay side by side through the chicane and get up the inside. Right now, Stilian is doing, he needs to keep his foot planted, gets the run. We saw it earlier tonight. A couple people lift out of that move. Stilian keeps his foot in it, and he sets up a pass here at the midway point of the circuit. Clampett's going to try to spin it around, and a little bit of contact, and Garrett Lowe is going to be an unfortunate victim there, as he had no part of that whole situation.
Yeah, so Garrett Lowe's turned around. He's in that number 51. There he is. A bit of damage to that Beetle. And he's chased by Bobby Zalenski here, who we know was spun at the start. Zalenski, is he taking to the Joker or going for a pass? There he is. No pass made, though. We saw someone in the heat races doing that. They barged their way through and produced an overtake. Still a battle here for P8. These are ever important points, Randy. We know the feature race hands out the most points in the World Championship.
And you will get points from the heats, as well as that qualifying race, as well as Bobby finds just a little bit of that bollard on the outside. But Bobby, I think, was a little bit passive going in towards the chicane here. Generally, the outside line will sometimes have the advantage going into that chicane after the starting bollard, just the momentum being carried through there. But on the inside groove, you still need to be pretty aggressive with it. Bobby was pretty passive and kind of lifted out of it there. Let Garrett have the spot. Not necessarily anything wrong with that, especially if you want to guarantee yourself as most points as possible. But difference between 9th and 8th really isn't that big at the same time either. As Mitchell de Jong is 2.2 seconds clear of Yoni Häkkinen.
If you can see that gap at the top of your screen, Yoni Häkkinen has his work cut out for him in these final remaining laps. We're on lap 7 of 10 here. De Jong is heading to the final corner, but we're looking at this battle between Stilian Cheplevsky and Logan Clampett. Clampett looks feisty, and he's giving him a little bit of a tap this time around. They head through the final corner this time around. This right-hander, no room for Logan Clampett to make his way through. It's a very tight right-hander, Randy. But again, this is the section here in that first sector. Just straighten this jump out. There's a lot of time to gain on the exit here as they rise over the jump and bounce down onto the gravel.
Fantastic watching those cars, watching the suspension travel really work. Let's go up towards the hairpin once again. Logan not nearly close enough. Very, very close there to spinning out. Actually, he got in a little bit too hot. That might give Johan Hart that opportunity to reel Logan in. We've seen Logan do that a couple times. We saw it when Stillian was making the move. Kind of almost yoinks the handbrake and sends the car around. I think it's losing him a lot of time. It's actually Johan. He's going to take to the Joker. He should be able to jump Logan and actually should get Stillian as well. And he's going to put himself up towards P5.
Someone's collected the ball out there, and that's Cheplevsky, wasn't it, behind Johan Hart? Here they head through. This is when I've driven this track before, and I hate that section there, the dirt section. I'm never good at it. It is so challenging. That view just doesn't do it justice. There is no grip. Setup is oh so important. Michael Guest on that last lap took to the Joker. He promotes himself up into P3 ahead of teammate Nathan Lyon. Those two fighting for a podium spot on the final lap. Here's Mitchell de Jong though. He is in P1 and he is on his way to a round one victory, Randy, here for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And Nathan Lyon was side by side at the jump, but you're right, Mitchell de Jong, as he works his way through the halfway point, is putting on an absolute clinic, but Joni Häkkinen has brought the gap down and is keeping it honest, but Mitchell's got one more braking zone until he's got himself a win.
And that camera angle there, we saw how in formation the middle part of the pack here was. But it's Mitchell de Jong who will take victory for the inaugural round of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Great victory from the VRS Coanda Sim Sport driver. He's followed by Joni Häkkinen in the Sim Gear car and Nexus Esports in third with Michael Guest. Randy, what an event. Congratulations to Mitchell. He elected to use the Subaru and proved everybody wrong. Out there, he was all on his own. He was a contrarian, really, with that decision. And again, Burnout's here for the victory. Well done to him.
Yeah, I was talking to Mitchell a little bit today about that, asking about the cars, and he said he still really only started serious testing the last couple days or so. Said he liked the way the Subaru drove. He hoped it was the right decision, but he felt confident in it. And when you got someone of Mitchell's caliber who feels confident in a car, I think that's a pretty good indication. There's a couple drivers that didn't turn up. Be interesting to see for the next round if someone else turns up in a Subaru, or if everyone's going to pretty much keep themselves with the Fiestas and the Volkswagens.
Look at the gap in the end there. Real-life Rallycross driver Mitchell de Jong wins in the esports world as well. Brilliant stuff from Mitchell. 1.7 seconds ahead of the ever-quick and young Joni Häkkinen. He is a champion for the future in esports and possibly the real world too if he gets a few deals done for himself. Nexus Esports third and fourth. Michael Guest jumping ahead of teammate Nathan Lyon with that well-played Joker towards the end of the event. The Frenchman of Johan Hart in the race clutch car will earn a top 5 finish at the end of the first ever feature race for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Cheplevsky started 8th. He ends up in 6th at the end in the Fusion Racing car. Very weird how the top Fusion Racing car only finished 6th here today. Bit of work to do for that team. With NX Racing's Logan Clampett in 7th. Garrett Lowe, Bobby Zelensky, and Josh Fox all had drama here for this final feature race. And they ended up in 8th, 9th, and 10th, rounding out that feature race. Let's have a look at a few replays here, Randy. Most notably, Bobby Zelensky's incident on the first lap. We'll get that up shortly, and that's one where we're looking at it now, which is just unfortunate for him. He was turned around, and I'm sure he's got a chip on his shoulder for round 2.
Oh, he definitely is. I mean, that's how Bobby's felt a lot, even from our old Dirt Night broadcast. He always found the short end of the stick. And, you know, that incident, really not much Bobby could do. He got the hit from behind, and unfortunate for him that it pretty much ended his race in about the first 15 seconds.
So unfortunately there, and I think Josh Fox may have been involved as well, and that's why Josh Fox finished, well, in last place, basically. And then here we go, Johan Hart as well, made a mistake all on his own on the first lap. One thing I have to say is, we're not wrapping up anything yet. We still have interviews coming up, especially with our race winner, Mitchell de Jong. But for round 1 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series, that was remarkable. And I'm already looking forward to round 2. It ended way too quickly.
Oh, it definitely did. I can't wait till we get some more of the drivers showing up and we get the full 3 heat races that we get to see. That'll be a lot of fun. But I think the other indicative thing about this World Championship is the fact that you look at our podium, two of our three drivers on the podium run in multiple World Championships. Mitchell, of course, in the World Championship GP Series, the VRS GTI Racing World Championship, and here in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. Michael Guest, NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series driver as well. So a lot of talent coming from a lot of different places on the sim, succeeding here in round number 1.
So we will speak to race winner Mitchell Young, who came home in the first position. And what an event from Mitchell Young. First thing I want to say, Mitchell, you were the contrarian in the Subaru. You've picked it. You've dominated the feature race. You had Joni Heikkinen, really the only driver challenging. How does it feel to be the inaugural race winner of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series?
Oh, was I the first or the only one in the Subaru? Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, it feels really good. It was a bit scary to drive. I think the car was a bit long for when the track is really one line like that. I was not feeling very confident driving it around in the final there. The rear end just gets a little bit in the loose and after the jump, and yeah, it's quite frightening. But no, really happy with the way it went, and fortunately, it goes to show how much starts play a role in this, because that really made a big difference.
Let's talk about your starts, because that was really so important for you. I mean, starting on the inside as well, front row with 3 cars, but I mean, there was a little bit of contact, a little bit of bumping and rubbing, but I think you made that part of your race count. Did you put a lot of effort into the starts because you knew you were going to start from first most of the races?
I think in testing, I just tried to figure out what the best technique was. It's a little bit different in this car compared to, say, the VW, where I was really comfortable starting with that. In the first heat, I had a bit of wheel spin. Just it's a lot different of a method that I'm used to, and it's not quite as easy to control. But fortunately, in the final, it worked out well. Had, I think, a little bit of a tap on the outside, but it didn't seem to cause too much issues, which is good. But yeah, just being able to start on that inside row makes a big difference. You just have to basically get a good enough start to hold the inside, and then the rest should be a lot easier.
Not only were you a contrarian with the Subaru, but you're the only Co-Anda SimSport driver out there. No Jorn Jens, no Jake Hewlett. How important will it be at Lucas Oil and the rest of the races this season to have your teammates alongside you?
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate this time. All of them weren't able to take part in this one. But looking forward to the next rounds when they're back, and that's going to make a huge difference. Obviously, the more I have working on a car, especially if we go with the Subaru again, whether with it being a new car, it's a big difference trying to get things figured out with setup and all that, which you just really haven't had a ton of time for. So, I think at least we got it good enough for this one. So now we move on.
No worries. And I have to say, I haven't given you a chance to give your thank yous to the team, sponsors, everybody else. Well done on the victory.
Here comes
thanks. Yeah, of course, my teammates and everyone that's still up, all the Europeans in our team that were here to spot me and take care of me while we're in the race. Of course, all our partners, Virtual Racing School, Huizingfeld, Andwin Design, SimQuip, VTech, Jill Real Timing, and of course you guys, RaceSpot, for putting this on for us.
No worries. There you go, everybody. Mitchell Young, your inaugural race winner for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. And Randy, he was tipped to be World Championship heading into this series, and he's already he's already made a huge statement. And one hand on the trophy, possibly in round 1, maybe? Should we say it already?
Oh, really, the most winningest lights driver in history, and in all the dirt night races we did, he was undefeated, and I think he still only lost. Mitchell, is it still just one Rallycross race that you've lost on the sim as a whole?
Yeah, just the start of the Joker, or the Pro Series, the Joker issue, just that one.
He's lost one race. He's probably won. You've run like, what, 80 or 90 now at this point, probably?
I think this was 52.
So 51 out of 52. Yeah, that's a risky pick for a champion right there.
There you go. So we're going to speak to Joni Heikkinen next, who Joni ended up in P2 at the end of this first ever iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Yanni, welcome to the RaceSpotTV commentary booth. Great event from you so far. You were the closest to Mitchell by 1.7 seconds. What were you lacking today just to edge those extra 2 seconds for victory?
I think I lose all this time in start. I take a bad start and lose couple of positions, so it was hard after that.
You have to say, though, you surely are very happy and very impressed with your efforts here in round one. The Rallycross, never the easiest series in the world. And, of course, you only finished 1.7 seconds off Mitchell de Jong, who's only lost hardly any races in his career.
Yeah, but I wanna win always, so it's not make me so happy.
Anything you're looking forward to next round at Lucas Oil Raceway? You reckon you'll go well there?
Yeah, I think it could be fine.
Any thank yous as well for the rest of the team and anybody else, and any words in Finnish as well?
Kiitoksia sponsorille SimCarelle.
That's all, nothing else?
Nothing else.
No worries. Thank you, Yanni. The ever young Yanni Heikkinen, who is been ever so impressive, Randy, in not just the iRacing Rallycross World Championship, but Finnish Sim Racing Championship as well. Yanni Heikkinen, a champion for the future we have to look out for.
Yeah, he definitely is. A multitude of talents, of course, in this Rallycross World Championship, and all three of these drivers very successful. Mitchell looks like a potential favorite for the World Championship Grand Prix Series this year. Yanni Heikkinen is very successful in his own right, and Michael Guest, as well, is a very, very talented driver who we're now joined by. And Michael, we just spoke to you this last Tuesday after a strong fifth-place finish at Michigan, and you come home third place here in the season opener in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. You have to feel pretty good about such a hot streak like that.
Oh yeah, of course. Honestly, I didn't really expect it coming in. It didn't seem like I had quite the pace as those top guys like Mitchell and other guys had. So coming into it, I was just trying to minimize the mistakes and stuff. And going into the first jump when there's the big crash, I just made sure I missed it. And from there on, me and Nathan had a great race, my teammate. I'm just really glad we kept it clean there.
Now, talking about the sort of car choices, there's a lot of Volkswagens, which I think people expected as a free car, arguably pretty much the most stable cars, a decent amount of Fords, but there's only the solo Subaru that obviously there's no issues with pace because that Subaru won the season opener here. What's sort of the reasons maybe did not people go to that Subaru? Why do so many people maybe avoid it when we only saw Mitchell, who's generally sort of seen as the fastest driver on the sim for Rallycross, go for that car?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Since the start, on most of these tracks, I've just used the Beetle. There's a couple tracks that I prefer the Fiesta on, but for right now, I'm just using what I'm comfortable with, I guess. I'm assuming that's the same with the rest of them.
Next round is in 1 week at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. How are you going to feel about taking that lap one sector pretty much 3 times on the night, more than likely?
I'm hoping I do pretty well there. It's my hometown track. I only live about, 15-20 minutes from it, so I'm hoping to do pretty well there.
Good luck to you, Michael, there, as well as the upcoming peak round at Sonoma. Before we let you go, any sponsor plugs that you'd like to get through?
Yeah, of course. Nathan Line and Nexus Esports. I couldn't run this well in this series without them. Round Graphics, too, and you guys at RaceSpot, of course, for broadcasting.
There he is, Michael Guest. P3 did absolutely fantastic tonight. Johnny coming from 7th on the grid.
Brilliant event from the Nexus Esports driver of Michael Guest. I have to say, Randy, before we wrap up here, Lucas Oil Raceway next week. Talk about that track for a little bit. Is that going to be quite a difficult challenge to Daytona?
I think that it's one of the two kind of big contrasting circuits. It's very, very tight. I mean, all the corners are 90 degrees or tighter, pretty much, with the exception of the oval for the most part. Those are kind of long and sweeping, but the others, you can almost make the argument it's like a street course with the way that it's a tight 90 left, 90 right. And then, of course, you have the pit road as well. Very, very tight circuit. And then just after that, you have the contrasting circuit of Sonoma with very long and flowing corners and lots of elevation change. I'm expecting a lot of pandemonium in the first corner. Lucas Oil is known for that, and even in Rallycross on the real world, it's going to be a feisty one. And I will say I was very happy seeing for the season opener all 3 manufacturers on the front row starting the feature race. It's always good to see that the different sorts of brands are very, very quick and very, very equal here.
Yeah, exactly. So really looking forward to that in a week's time as well as seeing who else will elect for the Subaru at Lucas Oil Raceway on the 28th of June. That's in 1 week's time. We'll head there, and that will host round 2 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Round number 2 coverage will begin at 1 a.m. GMT, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, or 11 a.m. in Australia. That, of course, will be on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacing Live. Thanks to you all, our lovely viewers, for joining us for today's broadcast. I'm Jonathan Simon, Randolph Cheneth alongside me, Cam Walsh on social media, and Hugo Luis behind the scenes on production. Thank you to Istvan Bello, Andreas Werner, Simon Grossman, and Nick Thiessen for all their hard work behind the scenes as well in production of this broadcast. This has been a RaceSpotTV presentation broadcasted on iRacing Live. We say so long from Daytona. We'll see you in a week's time.